you got anything to tell us?
No, maybe later on.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a little bit of an itinerary for today. So, itinerary, like from now to about 1:30, 1:45, we'll go through like a system of like open guard, single leg X and X. After that, we'll do our like stripe and belt promotions, probably till about like 2:15. And in the last 45 minutes, we've got lots of sandwiches and food and bits and bobs in there, and drinks, and we're going to have a bit of an open mat until 3 o'clock, so you can get some rounds in, maybe troubleshoot some of the stuff that we've gone through today, and just like all be together in it, you know what I mean? Like, a bit of fun. So, like I said, I said this was going to be applicable for everyone, so it makes sense to start from like open guard in general, and how we're going to go through that, and then go through single leg X. It's going to be a mixture of like me giving you some specific things to work on, and some games and tasks that we're going to do that relate to the position. So it's not going to be like a whole hour and a half of absolute scrapping. We're going to have some slower bits, we're going to have some faster bits, and then it should make you understand everything towards the end. Okay? So if I use Connor to start with, right? So let's talk about open guard. So if he stands up. Now, in terms of open guard, you have two ways that you can play it when you've got no connections. You've got your seated position, and then you've got your supine position on your back. Okay? What I want us to get used to doing is, depending on, the best way to set up single leg X a lot of the time is going from a seated position. Seated position is really important because it gives me more mobility than me being on my back. It's quite easy for me to come out and come up, come backwards. There's loads of different things we can do. Whereas it takes away the ability for me to use my feet to block against him now. So seated guard is great when I've got a big distance. So I've got my arm out here, it's great. Whereas when he starts getting a bit closer and we're starting to get a bit worried, that's where I need to start dropping onto my back and start putting my feet in the way. Yeah? So let's go back. So all we're going to get used to doing, we're just going to play like a little game of distance. I've got my hand behind me like this here. I need to keep sort of like my feet facing towards him. We talked about his lead leg. I want my opposite leg. So if he's got his left leg forward, I've got my left leg on the ground like this. I don't want to be this way because he's got a good route to my back like this. So I always want to make sure that I'm here like this. To start with, your partner is going to move around you and stay in the seat position. And what he's going to do is he's going to walk around me, and I'm just going to stay like this to start with. If he switches his leg position, I'm going to turn to the other side. So he goes right leg forward, go right leg forward, I'm going to go this way, so this foot can go here. If he goes left leg forward, I'm going to switch the other way. To start with, make it obvious which side you're going. Like if you've got left leg forward, go left leg forward. If you go right leg forward, go right leg forward. And you're just going to move from side to side. And all I'm going to get used to doing is moving around in this position. He can go backwards. If he goes backwards, I'm scooting. If he comes forward, I can sort of scoot as well. This is a good way to sort of keep my distance. Yeah? And after like 45 seconds, I'm going to take to swap rolls and then he gets to have a go. Does that make sense? So if he's got his left leg forward, my left leg is on the floor. If he comes closer to me, I'm keeping a bit of distance. If he goes away, I'm following him. If he swaps legs, I'm swapping sides. Does that make sense? We'll find a partner. In fact, swap over in your own time. When you feel like you're comfortable and you got used to that, swap over in your own time. We'll come around and have a look, make sure everybody's got it, and then we're going to move on. Really simple to start with. Anybody got any questions? Nope, ready, 1, 2. I'm going to show you some of the benefits of being on that particular side about like, before we go into single leg X, I'm going to talk to you about like wrestle-ups and stuff like that. Like wrestle-ups are a big part of my game. I'm a very lazy person, like incredibly lazy. So like wrestling from the feet can be pretty hard, whereas if I sit down first and they're sort of a bit more relaxed because I've sat down and then I decide to wrestle up, they're not expecting it as much. So it makes my job a little bit more easier. If you look at guys like, I know it's Guy, but you look at guys like Nicky Rod and stuff like that, they will drop down to guard in a seated guard, and then when the guy backs up, they'll wrestle up and get the takedown. So I'll show you some ways that we can do that. But first off, I'm going to show you something that I'm showing these guys over here. I caught this the other day about why this position is really good. So if he's got his left leg forward, right? Now, you know we talked about if I'm this side, and if he comes this way,
and he takes my back really easily, yeah? Now, obviously, if he starts going this way with his left foot, that's it, go back, do it again. So as he goes forward with his left foot, I can take this quite easily with my bottom leg, and it brings him into this sort of position. It's a really nice attack, especially when they're not expecting it. We can work this, and I'm going to show you some of the rest of this as well. So look, as he steps across, my foot takes the foot, and he just falls between my legs. It's more of a timing thing. You want to try and get the foot before it hits the floor, as he's about to put his weight on it. So one way you could set this up is, you can sort of like just prod the leg a little bit, and as he goes to step over it, that's the time to hit this sweep from this position. And I'll show you one more thing as well from this position as well. Now, obviously you start prodding the leg and stuff like that, guys get a little hesitant. Now, one thing I like to do from this position is reach my inside scoop hand like this. From here, if he backs away, he pulls me up into this position. And I can start attacking my single legs and stuff. So we've got two things to work in this position. Prodding, he steps over. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay. Next one. I can reach with my inside leg. Arm, sorry. The outside is not as good. Mainly because as I go in, he can get this underhook quite easily. No, that one, other one. Yeah, and it's not going to do me too well. Let's go back. Whereas this inside scoop arm sits really tight here, and I can get that arm really deep. So I'm pulling myself tight to it. Now I come straight up here when I go through the single, so I bring it as high as I can. He's got less balance. One more time for both. Prod in, steps over, and back. I'm here, reach. Now pull yourself over the top of your shin, hug the leg. If he sits down straight away, great. If not, we pick the leg up. Any questions? Oh, really want to? Yeah. So I don't like prodding my leg. Ethan, as always, that's a really good question. What if they come in square? Yeah, what if they come in square? Can't lose you. If somebody comes in square, you have access to double inside control quite easily. A lot of times what somebody would come in bladed is because you might be able to get inside on this leg, but you might struggle here. That's why I would come in bladed. So like, let's say for example, he comes in bladed to start with. I can get this leg on the inside of his legs pretty easily. I'm going to struggle getting my leg on the other side of that leg. Whereas if he comes in square, a lot of time here in this position, like you can get like these types of sweeps where both your feet go down the middle. Right? Let's come back. Let's talk about squaring him up. Now, he could start bladed. Now, whenever you're in this sort of position, most of the time from the top position, if he knows what he's doing, he's going to start playing with my feet. Yeah, so he starts playing with my feet. You know what I mean? Then we'll go back. That's how he's going to like pass my guard. Realistically, try to get me supine or whatever. But if I can, as he goes to play with my feet, I can sort of bring him forward. Oh, there, look. You know what I mean? Like I can square him up. So like the side that he's got back, like this, right? When he starts reaching for my feet, if I can use my connections on this arm here to pull this leg forward, and then I can bring this here, I can easily just come over like this. So what we're going to do, we're going to play a little exercise. Connor is going to try and use his hands to pick my feet up and get me square on my shoulders. If he does that, if he can get me here, reset, we go again. Yeah? What I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and use the tools that we've just talked about to either drop him to his hips, create back exposure, and that's pretty much it really. Yeah? So when we talk, or like if I can come up on a single leg or whatever. So he'll give you an example of what he's going to be looking to do. Here, we reset. Yeah? Obviously, I've got to try and sort of be into the punch and a lot of different things. Use my hand however I want. Get the drop onto his hips. Come up on the singles. playing around here. Yeah? Every time he accomplishes his task of me being on my back, or if I can drop him to his hips in whatever way, we swap over. He must stay standing throughout the whole of this exercise. And his tactic is to pick my feet up, put me on my back. That's it. Should we try that? Ready? 1, 2. Ethan said when he was doing it with his partner, as he was trying to send them backwards, the person was holding themselves up by grabbing onto the collar. So they were struggling to go backwards. So when we think about this, we are going to take them in 2 directions. We're either going to try and get them to their hips, or we try to bring them onto their hands and make them post hands. If we can make them post hands, it's really easy for us to either slip out the back door or wrestle up, because all the weight's going to be on their hands, if that makes sense. If we use Ethan, I'll just show you what I mean. So like, we were coming into here, this position here, and because I couldn't push him back to come onto this, it's difficult to take him backwards, he's leaning forward. Whereas if I just pull and just get to here instead, like, it's quite easy for me just to either take him back, let's go back, or I can even just like come up and wrestle up here, if I can get that leg between my legs and come up on a single, or you can go into loads of butterfly stuff where you get like your double underhooks. Like I said, come in here, I can come double underhooks here and start playing for double unders. I know some of you guys like to play this position, the shoulder crunch as well. You know what I mean? So I know it's really easy. I was talking about sometimes it's getting really tunnel focused on achieving a certain outcome, and that might be getting them to their hips. And you come across a problem where they're like, oh crap, I can't get into their hips because they're doing everything they can possible just to defend that outcome. Whereas the other options that would be, okay, let's try pulling them onto the hands. And then sometimes when they get a bit more aware of that, you'll find it easy to drop them to their hips because they're not committing so much of their weight forward now. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. I want you to play again, and I want you to keep that in mind as you play. Even if you can't get to the hips, maybe pull them over the top. As long as you can get inside control with your legs, you'll find it relatively easy. Happy? Ready, 1, 2. When you roll
Oh, look, Daniel's sitting on his own, you alright?
Yeah.
Hello.
Living my best life.
Pardon?
Living my best life.
Oh yeah.
You hit me with your vein.
Let's talk about like inside control and like shin on shin, we've got single leg X and stuff like that. So who's kind of, right? So we did a little bit of shin on shin yesterday. Shin on shin is a great way to not only wrestle up, but also a great way to get to single leg X. And I'll show you what shin on shin looks like. So we were just talking about this sort of position here. Shin on shin, my outside leg comes to the inside and I hug like so. Now in the gi, you do have extra options. You can grab the belt, you can pull down like the lapel like this, and it just reinforces the position a little bit more. Now there is an attack that we can do from this position that we couldn't really do with no-gi because you haven't got the same levers. But you see guys like Adam Wadzak, and what he does, he keeps his shin nice and tight so it hugs in, and he will use his other hand on the belt like this. Now if like I say, I can pull. I can go straight into like some straight foot sweeps similar to how we did before. Especially when guys are trying to stay that leg back, you can pull on that side of his belt to bring that leg forward, and you can catch it the same way you did before. So I'll show you again. Like I'm going to give you 2 options just so that you have an idea of like, if one doesn't work, the other one's right there. So like I said, I'm here in this position. This, take, let's come back. Now the other way that you can do from this, instead of trying to reach this with your foot, if you grab it with your hand, and I'll start dropping to my shoulder. And you see how like this works here. Now, my shin is on here. If I find that both his hands come on the mat this way, I'm in a great position to like start wrestling up from here. Using this grip. I'll actually try and grab his ankle there, but he's solid, isn't he? So he's too strong, big. But look, we've got 2 options. So shin and shin is in this position. You then settle the extra, you got bell angle, even better. Because this has got good effect on his posture as well. Here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Like if I can pull the leg this way and then catch, you got a nice sweep there, come back. And the other one is, I need to stay coiled when I do this. What I mean is, I'm keeping my knee and elbow tight, and I'm tucking my head. I'm not extending myself like this, because not necessarily there, it's the danger of him getting an underhook. Yeah. If he gets his underhook and flattens me out, I'm sort of dead in the water. So I want to close that space as tight as I possibly can and keep myself forward, and it has a good effect on his posture. Like this, like this. I come through and straight away wrestle up from this position if I feel like I can. Or you can go for that sweep. Have a play around in this position and have a play around with some of the effects from here. Keep yourself nice and tight. The person on top to start with, try to keep your hands out of it, keep yourself engaged, but try and keep a good level of balance so the person on bottom can play around with different off-balancing motions while staying in this position. Remember, stay as coiled as you possibly can, and you're pulling the grip towards you and almost like pressing your shin into his shin. So there's two like opposite factors happening there that help you create tension. Ready? 1, 2. So now let's talk about the single leg X position. So now we're going to use this shin on shin to enter into single leg X. When would be a great time to go to single leg X? Single leg X is a great time if they're not posting hands. A lot of times if they post hands, I will go to wrestle because the weight's going to be on their hands. If I find out they've either stayed upright or they pushed themselves back to an upright position, I might favour to go to single leg X instead. Yeah? If we can keep control of both ankles, we can sweep pretty much straight off the bat as they walk themselves up. If they stay in their hands, we wrestle up. Yeah, so very decent. So, say I'm here, right? I've got this. Okay, we're talking about tension as well. Tension is me pulling everything in really tight and making it like, let's say if you can just move around. Oh, step back. Come on, do the leg. Yeah, come on. You see, like, it's difficult, right? It's almost like, you know, when you've got like a dog hump in your leg. It's really difficult to get him off.
Another day.
Yeah? I was going to say kid, but like, you've got better than a dog. So you got a dog hump in your leg, and like, it's like, you try to move it and kick it up, it's just stuck to your leg the whole time. The only way you can get it up is like, put the finger in its bum. So when we're here, right, when we're here in this position, we need to be tight. If Ethan moves, I'm stuck to it now, I'm part of you now. You just got to accept that. So when we're here in this position and we're like here, we're talking about inside control. I might go this way. Now let's say, he's posting too hard, that's it. He's posting too hard, man. Now I'm not going to wrestle up here. If I try and wrestle up, I'm going to get flattened. Let's go back. But, I have my foot back in please, Ethan. Yeah, here. If I go here though, if I kick my legs straight, now I can go into this position. If I can get this bottom leg here, see how I can get the pants? I can get the end of this leg here. If I bump my hip, turn my knees to the outside, I have a really easy sweep. Yeah, the most basic single leg X sweep there is. You always want to try and control both legs when you're doing single leg X. If you can get both legs, it's like a 97.97% sweep. The only 2% is down to your human error. You let it go too early or whatever. From this position, how would you get up? What I personally do from this position, I come back and I bring this leg over the top. Now, I'm going to free my bottom leg and I can start coming out this way. Rather than trying to just get up straight away and you end up in like a spaghetti of legs. We can bring this leg over the top, escape the bottom leg, and then we're going to come up. I just want you to work through this a little bit, and we're going to play some games after this to do with getting up from these positions where both our hips are on the floor, and then revert back to the single leg X and see where we go on from there. So we'll go again. Like I said, it's a mixture today, isn't it? So we're here in this position. Remember, dog hump in the leg, yeah? Staying tight. If he moves, have a little move, have a little wiggle. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Here. See how I've kept both his legs at the same time? I've dropped my hips just so he doesn't go. But you want to keep your hips glued. From here, like I say, if I can bring his leg over the top, I hug the knee. And look, I've got a free leg there. You can start getting up. You can start going on the leg drag and pass to the side if you want. Everybody be cool with that. So have a little go, so you can feel, and then we'll play some games. Where do you want to?
The response of the top player. If the top player is dropping like a tombstone onto both their hands, I'm not going to play single leg X. I'm just going to get on top of them and wrestle. Because that is the easiest option for me. Yeah, like I said before, do you remember why I'm lazy and all? You know what I mean? I always want to do something that is easy for me and that's not going to require a lot of energy. So if I find that the guy is tombstoning on the floor with his hands or his face, like that, I'm just going to get on top. I'm not going to play around with single leg X. Single leg X for me is somebody who's surfing a little bit, staying upright, or walking themselves back into a position where it's going to be difficult for me to wrestle. Yeah? So if I'm here with Ethan,
so this is the thing I've been struggling at the most with a lot of people, I think, is like when we're pushing on this, tombstone for me, there is no single leg X here. Trust me. Wrestle. Every time, yeah? Whereas, if he stays more upright, or even if I get to that tombstone position, and he walks back, this is single leg X type, yeah? Now, that was another thing that I know some people were doing, is about when we kick our leg through. And I've seen some people kick their leg through, and what was happening from this, what was happening from this position, I'm kicking my leg through, and my leg is now on the outside of his legs. I can't get single leg X now, I need double inside. I might be able to wrestle if I bump him forward onto his hands and come out, but the single leg X is off the table. I need to have both my legs on the inside of his legs. I want you to look what I do with my arms and my legs. And this is the last little bit, we'll play a little game. So look, I'm going to be here, look at my arms and my legs now. So look, I'm going to kick this through, and I'm pulling this up towards my armpit. Now, if Ethan was to drop on me, notice how he's sat now on my shin. I don't necessarily want to be like this, because that's where the mount's going to come in. Let's go back. So if he drops, he's always dropping onto this. And it's very easy then for me to get rid of the foot into position. And very easy then, even more, to drop him onto his ass. If he drops to his knee, try and keep him on his hands, if I can. Just for now, that's the only information I'm going to give to you if he's on his knee. Try and make sure that he's on his hands, and not so he gets his foot flat on the floor. And he's right here. That's where he's going to start peeling connections. If he's ever on his knee, I'm always here. I'm not necessarily reaping the knee, look at my toes that pointed up or pointed out, and my foot's on his hip, but I'm turning in a way that his foot can't hit the floor flat. That's going to be more in a bit. And now, I want you to think about the top player's reaction. If they're tombstoning, they're dropping all the way to the hands, wrestle. If they're coming up right now, you play single leg X. Kick your leg to the middle, so you now got both your legs on the inside, and you're pulling his leg up towards under your armpit, and you're hugging it, and then keeping this really nice and tight. Let's only get a little bit of information. Try again when you want to.
I want to now just reinforce your learning a little bit with a bit of play. So what we're going to do is we're going to start now in the single leg X position. Okay? We're not going to start with both ankle grips. What I'm going to get you to do, you're going to accomplish one of two tasks. You can either drop them to their hips or drop them to their hands. They are not allowed to drop to their knees. They must stay standing and try and keep themselves upright standing. If you manage to accomplish either task, you win. Yeah? Just touch him. All you got to do is make him touch the hands. On the floor, drop them to their hips. And we'll do 3 goes each and then swap over. So let's say from here with Ethan again. You can set this up how you want. You can do it from single leg X if you want. And you just have a starting. So I can't go here. Okay. And we'll be like, okay.
let's go from here. He's not allowed to use his hands to address any of the connections. He's just got to try and keep his balance. But at any point, if Ethan can remove himself from the situation without using his hands, without dropping his hips or hands from the knee to the floor, he can. So if I'm loose here, he just steps his leg out, he can do that. You've got to stay tight to this leg. Ready? Yeah? He thought he would get away with it. Yeah? Trying to get both grips on the ankles makes the most sense. If you struggle, one thing I do is I try to bring the leg forward. So like we're here, sometimes I can bring this leg forward and then go back to here as well. Yeah? But I want you to experiment. You might come up with a few of your own things. You might try and create some back exposure, anything like that. It's up to you. Like I said, every 3 goes, I can get him to his hands or his hips. We swap over. Any questions? Nope, ready, 1, 2.
I don't want to cut it. What I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try now to get to the top position. What they're going to try and do, they're going to try and pull themselves back into a standing position. If they accomplish to get onto a standing position, hold it for 3 seconds, they win. If I can get round their legs with single leg X and pass their guard, or just get on top of them in general and like consolidate my sweep, I win. So we're going to start, let's have me with Ethan. To make it easier for yourselves, start from when you've swept them. So just do like sweep where you're like, okay, here, and we're both hips are on the mat now, we're in this position. Now from here, what Ethan's going to want to do, realistically, if he turns his hips that way and escapes his bottom leg, he can get back to a standing position. He holds his position, 3 seconds, he wins. What I want to do, I don't want to let him turn that way. Whatever I do, I don't want to let him turn that way. I want to keep hold of this bad boy. This bad boy is the only way he's going to be able to get standing again. Because if I let go, he's going to be able to escape his bottom leg and get out. Whereas if I'm here, try and stand up onto that leg if you can. It's not going to happen. It's really difficult. Really difficult. Yeah? If you keep hold of both legs as well, there's a little trick you can do. If Ethan, like for example, sometimes they push on the foot and he goes to step over the top of it, I can go single leg X on the other side by doing that as well. This time he has full use of his hands, he has full use of his capabilities, he can remove connections, strip connections you want. His goal is basically get back on top of me. Either on top of me, like a position, guard, half guard, whatever, one like that, or a control position, or just standing up, like disengaging. For me, I want to keep him down for as long as I possibly can and find a way to get on top of him.
Can I ask you, see if he comes up there, you still got hold of his leg.
Try it. Come on, come on, come on. Like he just said.
No, from there, like, say he's happened to do it, I don't know how the fuck he was not, but... You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's come up,
remember what I said?
and like, his leg's still stuck, does that count as he's on top?
Yeah, if he stands up on both flats of his feet, if we're here in this position, it should be very difficult for him to do so.
Yeah.
He would have to turn the other way to free his bottom leg, or do it in a way where I can't use my feet to keep him away. But this is for you guys to sort of experiment with this. So we'll go. Yeah? You want to try it out? 1 for 1. Ready, 1, 2?
It's a video. I'm not doing photos.
From this position as well, we're just going to do one more from this sort of seated position where we sweat them, and that's footlocks, right? What is legal, what is illegal, I can share, and a few different variations of what we can do. First off, basic principles of footlocks. So we're using, let's say we get to that position where I've got them in the back. Yeah? Now, it's similar to when we do an arm bar. We want hip attachment, and we want to be at the end of the lever. Yeah? There's no point footlocking him when my arm's all really high up here, because I'm just going to be crushing his calf. And he's going to tap unless he's pussy, right? And also, like, I want to be using my legs to almost like stretch Ethan out as much as I can. So the idea is,
if we can get this bit at the end of his leg as much as can, you should feel his, like the top of his toes on the back of your shoulder. That's a good indication. So we'll go in tight here. Feel that? Maybe reinforce with your gi. And then we'll go here. My feet are here in this position. He doesn't like it. Now there's a few things that you can do. I personally drop this, I'll drop onto my shoulder, I'll loosen it a little bit. I'll drop onto my shoulder and I'll bring this shoulder to the mat and I'll do like an arch and move while I'm pushing my legs. So I'll go here, here, and then that's how I get my foot lock. In the gi, grabbing the other side of your gi is super useful. Yeah, so I'll shoot again. So look, tight, try and make sure you feel the end of his toes on your arm, here, on your shoulder, sorry, and get this tight. We're here in this position, we're here. Now look, drop my shoulder underneath my own body, and I'm going to drop my shoulder almost to the mat. And if that doesn't come on, that's on. If that doesn't come on, I'm sort of arching and looking past myself to get that foot lock. What I want you to do with your partners, I want you to get to the point where you can tap them. If you can tap them without them resisting, great. And then after that, I want you to start in this position, maybe get a bit tight, and be like, go. His goal is to basically escape out of the position and relieve himself from danger. My goal is to finish the foot lock. Or if I can go threat to threat, that's cool as well. But he can go. If you're really successful and you're tapping him every single time in like 2 seconds, pull yourself a little further away from the goal. So you have to do a little bit more setup. Does that make sense? Yeah? I'll just do that one for now, and then I'll have a look at how everyone's doing, and I'll show you a really cool variation as well that you can do with a different leg configuration. And then we'll move on, and then we'll move on to a different topic. Happy? Ready, 1, 2?
I like the sack.
Just get inside.
Yeah.
Talk about like, I'll just start from single leg X. It's this foot lock sort of position. Now, sometimes what guys will do, they'll push on this leg and they'll sit over the top of it. Now, if I can bring my inside hook now to here and then take this leg over the top this way, I can still attack the same foot lock with a butterfly hook in this side and my other leg over the top. Tends to extend this leg, I'll scrape up into his hip, and I'm same thing again, I'm pulling this way. I'm getting that foot lock. One of the biggest things that a lot of people are going to do, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to try and pull themselves closer to you so you can't extend them, or they're going to remove the connection so you can't push them away. This one, if you can get to this sort of configuration, it is super difficult, not only for him to like remove the connections. Where would you remove these connections? Difficult, isn't it, from this position? And as well as like pulling himself closer to me, I feel like I have a little bit more distance here in this position. Whereas the one we did before, as much as it is the tried and tested basic straight foot lock, he can use his grips and grab my collar and whatnot and pull himself closer to me a lot of the time. Let's go back. Or he can remove this foot off the grass. So if I can bring this over the top, bring this over here, and then attack the foot lock, it is like a super duper uber foot lock. But it really works off his basic defense. So all I want to do, I want to get to the traditional foot lock position that we did before. I want him to bring the leg over the top, push his leg to the mat and step over it. And I want you to try and get this inside hook over the top and finish it with this foot lock now. Yeah, of course. So look, we're in single leg X. If you need to get a different angle, do so. So look, single leg X. He's pushing this over the top. See this? Now this, if I get this foot on this side of his body here, but I don't want his knee to go past my knee, so I might grab this knee here. I don't want his knee to drop here. I need to keep the knee. This leg now goes over the top. Now Carson's got flexible feet. That's pretty tight, isn't it? Yeah? We all cool with that one? We'll try it, give it a go, 1, 2. Super duper foot lock.
What is being brought to talk about?
Last bit of this.
So now we've done standing, like getting into the single leg X. We've done how to sweep from single leg X if they're standing up. We've done what happens when we drop them to the mat onto their hips. The next one is they're either going to be on their hands or they're going to be on one knee. So this is where we start going into our X territory. Yeah? So like if we're here with Ethan, and let's have him in single leg X. And we'll start with him dropping to his knee. Now it's really difficult to take him backwards in this position. I want you to stop me taking you that way. It's really difficult. So it's probably not the best route to go. Now, the thing is, like, I want to get to a position, realistically, where I can underhook this foot. Here, though, it's not safe. If I go to underhook this leg here, it's not safe, so you can kick his leg up and out. I want to be able to immobilise him a little bit. And the best way to do that is by putting his weight onto his hands. So from this position, I'm going to use my whole body and turn him here, without using his knee. From here, you can even do this with your foot, just to stretch him out a little bit more. Now, if you've got gi, even better, you can grab the pan leg. And I'm going to underhook and pull him in tighter, so he's on my shoulder like this. This foot now comes to here. We want to be able to get to this position to provide a bit of structure. It should be difficult for Ethan to put the weight back on his foot. It should, if I keep this nice and tight, it should be difficult for Ethan to run away. Yeah? I want you to get to this sort of position and just ask him, can you put your foot on the floor? No. That bottom leg makes a world of difference. You put your foot on the floor. You see that? Let's go back. Can you run away? Yeah? I feel like this leg, run away by dropping your knee to the floor. Yeah, see that? Limp leg sort of motion. That top leg helps keeping the structure here. So if you try limp leg, it's a little bit more difficult because the top leg's in the way. So from here, hold this position for a couple of seconds. Ask him, can you put your foot on the floor, can you come back into it? And then from here, it's time for you to gradually work to your standing position. Try and stay. Yeah? We're keeping the leg on your shoulder. It's all about keeping him stretched out with the bottom leg, keeping the structure of his top leg with your top leg, keeping his foot on top of your shoulder, and gradually working his way into a standing position. A bit like a Turkish girl. I'll go one more time. So we're going from single leg X, he's on his knee. We're here, he's on his knee. I can't underhook him here. He's going to escape if I do. I need to bring his weight onto his hands. Here, I'm in a good position to do so. I'll stretch him out. Bottom foot, top foot, here. Try and skip. Oh, here, what's going there? Now we're up. Okay, it should have that much. This position, even Carson can get me this week. Even Carson. This position is such a strong position that even Carson can get me. Yeah? I want you to keep that in mind. You don't rush, you take your time, you keep everything where it needs to be. Should we give it a go? Ready, 1, 2. How's that feel? Okay. Now, what we're going to do is when it comes to our hands, keep the leg hook up. That's it, see how he keeps his leg. To your hand. Watch your head roll, you can stand up. Yeah, boy, stand up. That's it. There. Good game of walking around this position. So, we're going to stabilise and destabilise. So the first one part, your goal is to stabilise your position as much as you can. What I mean by this is if you can get your foot, the one that's closest to your partner's head, flat on the floor and pull yourself in nice and tight. Yeah? If you want a little bonus, if you can remove the connection to single leg X, even better by using your hands. Person on the bottom position, you need to permanently destabilise the top person. You want to make sure that they're balancing their hands on the floor so they're not trying to deal with you. You want to keep that element of distance where you're sort of almost like pushing them away so it's easy for you to start working these attacks.
These attacks don't work if I use Carson. So, if you drop where this leg, drop this knee on the floor, give me the leg. Right, say I'm in single leg X, right? He's flat on the floor like this. He's quite stable in this position now. Now, in terms of, even though it looks like a very neutral position, I would definitely say Carson's in the better position than I am. He has full use of his hands to start stripping my legs and whatnot and start passing my guard. Yeah, he has full use of my hands, his hands, my hands. Yeah? What I want to be doing here is that, what he's just done there. I want him to touch the mat. If he touches the mat, it means he can't touch me, he can't feel connections, and it means I can get to work doing what I want to do, which is getting on top of him. Okay, so if we play this game here. Yeah. Go back. So see how all this links in all together? Ready? Go. Go back. Yeah? So if I can ever get to a position where he's stood up again, and I can grab his far leg, you can just do the sweep that we always did before. Whereas if I can keep him on his hands, and on his knee, I can work going for those X-large style sweeps. I'll give you an example of that. He's doing the same thing to me. Go on, Carson. Yeah, let's say he stays on his knee. So I'll still sweep you there from there. Yeah? We'll have a rule for this one, just this round. He's got to stay on this knee. He's not allowed to stand that knee up. Ready? Go. Even Carson can do this one. Stabilise yourself, boy. Yeah? Try that, does that make sense? Start off with the guy just being allowed to be on his knee. And then if you want, you can open up with the guy, he can stand up if he wants. He's just trying to stabilise himself and remove connections. We're permanently trying to off-balance him. Whether we go for sweeps like that, or do we go for that double ankle, it's up to you. Play around with it one for one, and then we'll go over some back exposure stuff. Happy? Ready? 1, 2. Hey guys, obviously big thank you to everybody for coming today. 4 years today we opened the gym, so it's really good to see lots of new and returning faces all the time. I hope everybody's happy with the training and what we're doing here. We only want to improve the service and the level of training that we're giving to you guys. Now's like the time of the seminar where we give out some promotions that we've been holding for a while. So first one, Neve. Give her a shot.
Thanks very much.
Well done. So we'll give Katie, give her a round of applause.
I'll try and get back into it.
Put that on the laptop.
I know I did.
Eden. Mark Jobs, round of applause.
stuff to keep them big boys in check.
Yes. Ethan Parry.
It's too long, isn't it, man?
It's not into the length.
Take it off.
With the one
All
one.
tradesmen like to schools, mate.
Oh, man.
Finally, Carson. In the round of applause. That's bad luck, that is. It's a flip that. We've also got hide these in a way. And no one can see him. No one can see him. No one can see him. Right. John Lees, give him a round of applause.
Oh, it's so bad now when he smashes me. He's got lots of weight, didn't he?
Ethan Bennett.
It's so sticky.
The alpha Ethan, okay guys? This is the look. What a win. Dan Gibson. This might be a bit bigger now. Come here for us. That's it.
How many years are you making is this one?
Fucking laugh. 4 hours, mate.
I think I was doing jiu-jitsu with Reese's wipeout.
Well, I quit then, don't I?
I'll miss you in that morning.
Luke, give him a round of applause, guys. So much easier when I got 3 belts in one gear, you know what I mean? Obviously, a big thank you to everyone that's come today and is training week in, week out, supporting the gym. It does mean a lot, and obviously seeing you guys progress. We don't get grades out easily, you know what I mean? We don't have an attendance card. Obviously, you have to train for a certain amount of time. At the same time, we're paying attention to the other things. Are you actually getting it? Like, are you understanding what jiu-jitsu is and how you're getting there? Like,
Are you conceptually like getting better? Are you helping others? That type of thing really has a standing within the gym. And especially those guys who've got their blues and purple today, they're at the top of that and they're really showing everybody what's going on. So yeah, what we'll do a bow out and we'll get a big picture. But well done guys, give yourselves.
We did?